Here we are with our A sheet. And if we look at 43, and then we move over to 47, I am not seeing any difference whatsoever. It could be that when we lay the little pieces side by side we will. But right now they look the same to me. I can't even figure out what they're supposed to be. And in all likelihood, if we didn't have them on the part, we probably wouldn't even miss them. But we'll stick them on. Oh my, on this one here it's really hard to tell where the tab. I wonder if maybe that is really hard to tell. It doesn't, there's no, oh yeah, it kind of stops right there. Okay, that must be it. Now I'm probably going to lift this up in your way a little bit. Okay, and this one here. That might be just a little bit too much into the tab, but I guess it's better that than the other way. Now, where does the tab end and the part begin? I think that's it. Maybe this one I'll do the ends first. Okay, it appears that the tab ends right about there. I think that was it. It was either that or else it was right here. I can always nip it off afterwards if it's if I need to. Okay. Yeah, I wonder what that's supposed to represent. Now, just in case there is a slight difference in them, I'm keeping them separate. Remember I was saying I was kind of worried about how I was going to keep the profile of that gear? You know, you can see here that this is where the sprue connects. It kind of spoils one of the cogs. But if you flip it over, well, you can see that it will be a little easy to have it looking good, at least from one side. They're not perfect, but they're not as bad as I thought they were going to be. Some of these pieces have to be glued together, and then somehow has to be put on the end of the crane. I was going to start gluing these pieces together, like these two that you see here, those that they go together. And then I notice I have missed a piece of photo etch, C36. Now this is looking at step 37, and if we move to step 38, the same two pieces, okay, they also need photo etch C36, and it can't be very big. Okay, this is C36. I want to show you the size of it in comparison to the ball of my ballpoint pen. This is unbelievable. If we thought the spider was bad, well, let's give it a try. You know, we did the spider. Maybe we can do this too. Now you'll notice that I've repositioned the camera. That's for my convenience because I don't want to cut into this part. And I have just resharpened my cutter. No. Oh my goodness. It's supposed to be a little hook. Okay, I knew that you'd want to see the other one being cut. Let's see, is that it? I think that's it. Okay, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to place them on the dime, and then we'll get us an idea of the size. I'm probably going to lose these. Now this reminds me of an episode of Star Trek. Star Trek Next Generation. You know, the one with Captain Picard? Anyway, one of the characters, his name was Wesley Crusher. Wesley was a kid and he was always getting himself into mischief, and he had developed some little machines that were called nanoids. And he spilled his nanoids in the carpeting of the ship. And he's down on his hands and knees picking these things up as best he could before they multiplied and took over the ship. You know how that Enterprise thing went. That's those Star Trek episodes. It didn't take much to throw the Enterprise out of whack. Anyway, yeah. So that's what I felt like just now, picking up nanoids. Anyway, I may not be able to see them in there, but at least I know where they are. They're between here and here. Okay, I got kind of curious because nanoids just didn't sound right. It was nanites. Yeah, everybody knows what nanites are. Probably about half an hour ago, I painted the rest of this with the primer here. And the reason being is that when we go to the hobby store later and pick up some paint, when I bring it back, I'll be able to do some samples here and just see how it compares with that aluminum that we did yesterday. Yeah, I definitely don't like this aluminum. I'd use it if I didn't have anything else. However, hobby store opens up in about an hour, less than an hour now. And we'll go on, we'll pick up the paint, and we'll give this a couple of samples. In the meantime here, I may as well see if there's something I can't do to fill in the time. You know, I don't think that this needs to be glued on. I think it's going to be sort of a pressure fit going on here. I suppose I could glue it on. Anyway, it's going to go something like that. These are all going to have to be painted dark gray to match up with the rest of the fittings on there. Well, maybe a little bit of, a little bit of glue wouldn't hurt. Just a little tiny bit of Tamiya thin. Now I am noticing that I've got a tiny little bit of flashing here. And I think I should try and get rid of that if I can. I don't know if I should be using my scraper system here, or maybe the Oh, this is working better. This is the underside. Nobody's going to see it, but what's happening is it's holding that little gear from going up as far as it can. Okay. Okay, this is the worst side. This is the underside. The other side of the gear looks better. So I've got it the right way on. Yeah, there's a little bit more of this little peg showing now. In fact, I can grab it that much. When I was sitting there at the model table there just a minute ago, I thought I heard thunder. I do not want to be going to the model store if there's going to be a thunderstorm going on. So let's just check the radar here. Well, here's Winnipeg right here. And I'm not seeing any thunderstorms. Must have been a truck going by. A truck that sounds like thunder. Well, that's good news. Here we are in the model store that I've been frequenting for the last, half a year or so. And, well, this is not the first time I was in this store. I think the first time was in 1965, but it wasn't a model store. It was a hardware store, and it was the hardware store to go to if you were a farmer. One of the interesting things that I can really remember about this store is that if you wanted to buy nuts and bolts, you bought them by the pound. Regardless of size, it was all the same price per pound. And I found that really interesting. In fact, I can remember buying nuts and bolts by the pound in this very store. Anyway, it's not a hardware store anymore, as you can see. Now, one of the unique features of this store is you sometimes get the feeling maybe you're in a pet store. They've got some very beautiful birds here, and although I didn't see them today, I was told there are 3 cats that sort of roam around. Now, I like cats. I like dogs too, and I like birds. I feel at home here. Well, it's sort of a family atmosphere, very friendly. This is the reason why we're here, and I was on their website just about an hour ago, and they said they had it at the time. I hope their website is up to date. Now, I know that I've mentioned this before, and I feel a little bit like a traitor here because I'm not frequenting the store that I used to go to all the time back in the 70s and 80s, at least when it comes to models. Yeah, well, that's the way it goes. Times change. Stores change. I've changed. Yeah, well, anyway, let's get this paint home, put it in the paint shaker, try a couple of samples, see if we can find something we like better than the aluminum that we had yesterday. Now, that was actually one of the birds. You have no idea how loud those things are. Yeah, you could probably hear them outside. Anyway, it was probably upset because I didn't give it anything for taking its picture. Now, if you would like the website for this store, in the comments below, just ask for it, and I'll reply it to you. A couple of hours ago when I was in the hobby store, I really did think we were going to be able to shake this paint up and, try it out. But, we've run out of time here. So it's going to have to wait for tomorrow's episode 189. Yeah, in the meantime, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the tour of the hobby store, and we'll see you tomorrow.